I heard about this archaeologist was digging these very ancient ruins, and he found a magic lamp. Of course, he rubbed the lamp. He got a genie, and the genie didn't offer him 3 wishes. Said, I'm going to give you the choice to choose between unlimited money and unlimited wisdom. The guy thinks for a minute. He said, I choose unlimited wisdom. Poof! The guy all of a sudden developed this sour face. The genie said, what's going on? Now that I have all the wisdom in the world, now that I know everything that is there to know, I realize I should have chosen the limited money. I want to talk to you about sour face. Not this one. Sour face. Sour face. Have you ever seen sour face? Here in Shaarei Zedek? Never. Oh, please, God forbid me. Forgive me for that one. But it's not something that we should allow ourselves to develop. A sour face. Judaism is a religion who is always teaching us to be happy. And there is more, because as I mentioned at the beginning of the service, today is Rosh Chodesh Adar. And the rabbi said, Mishe nichnas Adar marvim besimcha. Remember, we sang the song. Mishe, 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 Mishe nichnas Adar. We have to increase our joy. Now we're thinking, really? Increase our joy? Not much to celebrate around, especially in the Jewish world, with all the news that we get every day. Like news, like some of the things that, I'm sorry, they sound like a joke. The UNRWA in the short list for the Nobel Prize? Then we have a local newspaper almost make it fun of disrespecting an event about October 7th that took place at the Museum of Human Rights. And then we get the news that, many of the hostages are probably dead. And how does that make you feel? Sour face, probably. Probably like, I should go around with a sour face. But at the same time, Adar comes and we sing, Mishe nichnas Adar marvim besimcha. So, how can we go from that feeling of, to try to increase our joy for the month of Adar? Well, it's very interesting because in this week's Parsha, we have a very interesting verse. I never thought about this way. The verse says that if you happen to dig a pit or a cistern, in public property and public domain, or if you uncover a cistern, right? And then there is an accident. Say, for example, like a donkey or an ox falls there and died. You are liable for that accident. You are liable for any accident you create by digging a pit or a cistern, okay, or removing the cover. And then the rabbis explains this in very interesting ways, very different ways. Number one, he said, well, this is a clear proof that the Torah cares about animals, right? Because you have to be careful that animals won't fall there, and God forbid, they will be harmed. They also say, the rabbis, well, this is sometimes the way the Torah presents things that it says. If we have to be careful that the animal won't get hurt, even more so, people. So many times the Torah will give you, the lowest possible example, and then you have to use your reasoning to realize who else or what else is covered by that law. And that's all good. That's all good. That's all good. To think that the Torah is taking care of the animals, and the Torah is telling us that if somebody, a person falls on a cistern and it's your fault, you're liable for that. But I read something very interesting that is going to take this to the next level, because the rabbis say that this verse about the pit, about the cistern, is a metaphor into something way, way, deeper. And it's interesting. And there's a story that I want to share with you that I read from Rabbi Lamb. I don't know if you know him. Rabbi Lamb, sometimes I play his videos. He has a series that is called LOL. And his word is Lamb on Life, right? But usually LOL, the kids will use it, means laugh out loud, right? But LOL, laugh. So he told the following story. He was saying that he was a young yeshiva student, and high holidays were approaching, and he was going around in the yeshiva with a sour face. So his rabbi came and said, "What's going on?" And this young yeshiva student looked at his rabbi like, "Are you nuts?" He said, "Elul, Rabbi, Elul." Means the high holidays are coming. So much to do. So much to do, so little time. So he was going around with a sour face. I'm entitled to go like that. And the rabbi told him, "You know what? Elul is what is inside your heart. And that is private domain. But your face is public domain. And you have to be careful on what we express to others." And said, that's why the Mishnah says you should receive everyone with a pleasant face. Now, why was this rabbi telling Rabbi Lamb about the heart is your private property, your face is public domain? Well, most likely he was quoting a previous teaching from Rabbi Israel Salanter. Rabbi Israel Salanter, for those of you who don't know him, he was the father of the Musar movement. And he was teaching as following. He was saying that your face is Reshut Arabim. Your face is public domain. And he was saying, incredibly, that if you go around with a sour face, that is called a bor birshut Arabim. You know what a bor in Hebrew is? Bor, B-O-R in English, I guess. A bor, a cistern, a pit. They said, if you go around with a sour face, it's like the verse in this week's Parsha. It's like if you are digging a pit on public domain, and if somebody falls in there, you are liable. So in other words, what it means is, yes, sometimes we go through life, sometimes we get super upset. That belongs to our heart. We have all the right to have it there. But we have to be careful, because what our face expresses could make somebody else's day miserable. The way we behave can make other people go through difficult times, make mistakes, or go around depressed. And the rabbi said, in that case, you know what? You are liable for that. Because we should know better. We should know better of the consequences that our body language can create on others. So in other words, yes, we get many bad news during the year. But we have to find a way to keep those bad news to us and be careful not to ruin somebody else's day. And that's why the rabbi said in the Mishnah, you have to always present yourself to others with a pleasant face. So, as we start the month of Adar, it's a reminder of this. Mishenichnas Adar marvim besimcha. It means when the month of Adar begins, we have to increase our joy. Is it automatic? No, it's not. But we have a month. Hey, this year we have 2 months to find ways to change our attitude. And despite everything negative that is going in our life, to try to develop smile in our faces. Try to get away from sour faces. And instead of ruining somebody else's day, to try to increase and to share joy with others. Shabbat Shalom.